Join them in Facebook and YouTube Live. I do after every Borough game throughout the season. And thanks as always to the sponsors: Cornerstone Business Solutions, Galaxy Blinds, Advanced Utility Solutions, Smith and Friends Estate Agents, Cleveland Systems Engineering, Dovecot, and TGM Cars. Games today played. Coventry 2. This is before I come on. They may have changed. There was second remaining, but Coventry beat Blackburn 2-0. Obviously, Middlesbrough won last night. 2-1 went temporary at the top of the league. Coventry have jumped above us with a point. Stoke City, they were beating Wrexham 1-0. West Brom 2-1 against Preston. QPR, they get beat by Millwall. So all the top teams clamouring in the top six have won today. And Portsmouth play at 8 tonight. Leicester play Portsmouth away. They're at home, sorry. Leicester's at home against Portsmouth, quarter to 8 kick-off. So the teams won. So as it stands at the minute, Coventry get back to the top in 22 points, Borough's in 21 points, Stoke 18 points, West Brom 17, Millwall 17. But if Leicester beat Portsmouth in the late kick-off tonight, then they can go in third place. They can get to 19 points. The team last night, if you don't know, I don't know where you've been if you didn't know. Excuse me, we've got a bit of cold. The team was Bryn. Obviously, we were looking to bounce back. We'd went in a great run, unbeaten, played Portsmouth before the international break, and it was a poor performance, poor result. It happens. We came out of it last night. The team, to try and get back on track, we saw Bryn, Target, Britton, Jones, Fry and Brown, Bazog, Hackney, Whittaker, Conway and Strelick. And on the bench was McGree. McGree returns. He didn't get on, but he did return on the bench. Ailing, Morris, Nipan, Senni, Silvera, Banguera, Hansen, and McLaughlin. That was the team and the substitutes last night. We few surprises there. I'm thinking, oh, Morris is out. He's been fantastic this season, and a couple of changes, but nevertheless, first 20-25 minutes. I mean, some people say the best game I've ever seen for years. Everybody's got an opinion. First 20 minutes, I thought, both teams cancelling each other out. Not a great deal in it. And then the game exploded. We had chance after chance. The keeper was making save after save. Their keeper. Conway could have had 2 or 3 in the first half. And then, lo and behold, they had a couple of chances as well. And then just before half-time, they get awarded a penalty. Never a penalty. Great save for Saul Bryn. Justice was done. And then just before half-time, ball comes in for the right. The defender, he got his feet tangled. He went through his legs, hit his right heel, and went by his own keeper. Great to go into half-time, 1-0 up. And then the second half we came out, it was the same, more chances squandered, more chances created by both teams. And then we did score a goal. Hackney, I think he played it to Bazol down the right, square ball in, and it eventually came to Whittaker. And Whittaker, first time, good finish, cool, composed finish. Some of the fans haven't warmed to Whittaker, but I'm sure they warmed to him last night. Got the winning goal against a very good Ipswich team. So, brilliant. I mean, it was everybody, nobody let themselves down, but there was a few that stuck out for me. There was 2 in particular. I know the keeper gets credit, and rightly so. Saul Bryn's been terrific. Delighted that he's a young, he's 20, 23, 24, local lad. Nothing better than that. Hackney, another local lad. I thought he was very, very good last night. Best he's played for a while. Thought he was outstanding. Conway, for his work rate, he leads for the front, closing down, harassing. He did dive a couple of times out of order. I'm not a fan of that. But his work rate was phenomenal. But the lad that stuck out for me, Brown. He was cool. He was composed. He would make good angles, 1-2s. Passing was... He never gave a ball away all night. Tremendous. So, yeah, we deserve the plaudits. Get on. Praise the lads for last night. Not just for last night, but for the opening 10 games have been fantastic. Use Steve McLaren's terminology. Magnificent. Evening, Bernie, for Ian Moggy. Hi, big man. How are you doing, Ian? I'm sure you're delighted. Running naked through your street last night, celebrating another victory for the Borough and going top last night, of course. Jason Cooling says, great one, Bernie. I'm sure it's a He says Beanie. I'm sure he means Bernie. That 15 minutes before half time was crazy entertaining, but nuts. It was. I mean, if you weren't there was balls ricocheting off 3 players. It was coming, shot, keeper parried it, another shot. It was never ending. I mean, some people were saying they were biting their nails, they were up to their elbows with nerves come the end of the game. Oh, it was exciting. Great advert for Championship football. Really, really great advert. Even the Bernard Joseph Slavin for Wayne Milsom. Great result last night. We looked a lot better going forward last night. Hackney and Brown ran the show. I thought Barzog had a good game as well up the Borough. Yeah, Wayne, Barzog is a bit of stick as well. He's not really set the header alight, but last night he was involved, worked his backside off, and he gave a good account of himself and deserves the plaudits. Had a hand in the goal. Yeah, so Brown, as I say, Brown was just immaculate. I didn't know a lot about Brown when he arrived, but he's obviously got a bit of experience. He's calm, he's cool. I say his passing, his range of passing was all short and sharp stuff, 1-2s. Never really took more than 3 touches of the ball, but really, really good at it. Simplistic sometimes is best. Some people overdo it and the ball get caught with the pants down and it doesn't look good, but really good last night. Barzog played greatest for Chris Atherton. Andrew Hill says, I was surprised Rob Edwards with his team selection yesterday's game, Bernie. I was, if I'm honest, Andrew, but there was a lot away in international duty. The likes of Morris has been terrific, but trip to America, it's not a short haul flight, it's a long haul flight, jet lag. But then when I hear that reason, I always think, well, Messi, he travels to Argentina when he's in international duty in his heyday, and Ronaldo to Portugal, and they never seem to be jet lagged or left out. But anyway, it was there was a few people questioning it. I questioned it myself. My mates were questioning it. But hey, well done, big Rob Edwards. Plaudits again. Barzog played greatest for Chris Atherton. Barzog played great. All his critics, 110% better player than Conway. Conway's a lost boy. Morris is overrated. We played better without him. What rate Conway doesn't win games. The thing is, Chris, if I was Conway and I'm a centre forward, which he's classed as an international centre forward, he has to score goals. More goals. But his role is to burn up the opposition with his work rate and closing down and harassing. And that is one hell of a job, and I take my hat off to him. I couldn't do it. I was as fit as a butcher's dog when I played for Middlesbrough. I didn't want run mileage, closing down that. I wanted to score goals. The name of the game is to score goals as a forward. But he's took it on him to do this lone role, if you like, close, harass, work your backside off and get taken off every game. He's practically getting taken off every game. And it's not because he's playing badly, it's just because his work rate. He's blowing gaskets every game. So I think that's his role, that's his job, to try and burn down the opposition, and he's doing it effectively. And then other guys that come on maybe getting the credit or the praise. But I asked the question last night. Trooper Ashpom was obviously ex-Borough. First play to match Moan, 20 league goal record in 32, 33 years. And I asked the question in the lounge, which I host the Legends Lounge at Riverside, will any of the current strikers score 20 league goals this season, next season, or the season after? No chance. Because they're not out-and-out goal scorers. They're workhorses. Hello, Bernie. For James Mills, Big Mills and myself and Maggie are watching you from the ship bank. Hail, hail. Celtic fans, obviously. I watched Rangers game. I don't know the final score. It was 2 each when I came away. 2 great goals. Tavernier scored a great goal. His brother used to play for Middlesbrough. And their lad, I don't know who he was, all tattoos. He scored a wonder goal. Good one against a solid team. This is for Paul Gamble. Made up for Whittaker and silenced the Boo Boys last night. Hackney or Bryn, my man of the match. Need a win against Sheffield Wednesday. Take advantage of the situation. What was your opinion on the penalty? I'm an honest man, not a penalty. When I seen it live, I thought that's a pen. See it 3-4 times after the game in the lounges. No way was it a penalty. It was a shocking decision, but when there's no VAR, we just have to go with the moment like we used to do. I'd rather go in the moment, if I'm honest. Andrew Hill says, I was surprised Rob Edwards' team selection and also team formation yesterday. Yeah, he changed the formation. As I say, the lad Brown just sort of sat in the central and midfield in front of the back 4. And he was terrific. I can't praise the lad enough. As I say, I've not watched a lot of him. Well, I've not seen him at Middlesbrough and his previous club. I've not seen him a lot, but by goodness, he was terrific, and he must play the next game, no matter how fit and fresh Morris is. This guy's got all the experience going. Where are we here? Jacob Pinkster. A fantastic game last night, Bernie. We tried to walk the ball into the net and fancy footwork. We should try shooting from out the box. I thought that myself. If you analyse the game, the amount of chances we could have scored 4, 5, or 6, and that's not over egging it. They could have scored a couple, and I was questioning some of the shooting and some of the some of the opportunities that were served up, and we fluffed them. If you look at our goals, one was an own goal and the other one was bobbling about everywhere, and eventually Whittaker got on the end of it. Cool finish. Fantastic game last night. Yeah. Conway, what rate good, but doesn't get enough goals. Well, Steve, he won't get enough goals. He won't get enough goals because when the game's near the end, that's when everybody gets a bit jaded, and that's when passes go astray and chances go a begging. He is working so hard as a workhorse. He's not got that spring in his step and that extra yard to connect. I seen him a month ago. Can't remember the opposition. It was at the Riverside, and there were 2 chances come in. Second half, 2 chances come in. There were tap-ins. People would say, "Slavin, tap in, Merchant." Anybody can do that. Everybody can do it. He couldn't because he was knackered. He just couldn't make that yard up. That's a foot, but a yard. He just couldn't make it up because he was knackered. That's not his fault. That's the role he's playing. That's the way we play. But last night there was chances created. I've been critical when we play 3 centre-backs and wing-backs. The wing-backs don't do enough going forward. And I'll stick to that. If we go back to the 3 centre-backs, which I'm no doubt we will, over the course of the season, in the main, that's the tactics that Big Rob Edwards has took on board and will be very successful doing it. But as forward, if you look at Coventry's 0-0 today, I'm heading home. I was having a coffee, and I said to my big mate, they'll probably still bang in 3 goals because they've scored double the amount of goals as us, and the odds are they were going to score goals. They won 2. But going forward, I think the strikers look at Strelic. Strelic played a hand in the goal, but wasn't really in it, and that's just the way we operate. Conway, what rig? Yeah. Andrew Dakin, is it? So, if that's how you pronounce your name, mate. Bernie, what do you make of the referee bottling the penalty shot in Conway? Well, do you know what, Andrew? Conway, if I was talking to the lad, if he's my mate, he's cheating. He's diving. I wouldn't give him a penalty because the word goes round, he dives. He likes a dive, always looking to cheat. We call it cheating. But don't do when Ronaldo was here because he played for Man United. Oh, he's a cheat, he's a foreigner. Conway's plays for Scotland. He's an international for Scotland. He dives everywhere. The first half, his first dive was ridiculous. It was embarrassing. And I was sitting next to Big Jeff the ref, the former Premier League referee, who's a massive Borough fan. And he looked at me like that, and I looked at him at the same time, and he went, "It's ridiculous." And it is. There was nobody near him when he dived. There was one, he was going near the corner flag second half, and the lad had done him for pace, and he dived again. Look. So the answer to Conway is, if he's going to continue to dive when nobody's touched him, the wind's blowing him over, he ain't going to get any penalty kicks or free kicks even. Ball was clearly in play before he blew the whistle, but he ordered the corner. So as I say, Andrew, because he dives constantly, I've no sympathy when it comes to a decision that maybe he should get not going his way, because he does it all the time. Goalkeeper got to be man of the match with that save. It was a crucial stage of the game. So if you've not seen it and you're wherever you're on the planet and you're watching this, they get a penalty. I've watched it a few times afterwards. Wasn't a penalty, in my opinion. They got the penalty. It went to the keeper's right. Big Sol Bryn, 6'4", local lad, brilliant. Dives, great save. And that was about 45 minutes or something. And then lo and behold, they scored an own goal for us and we go in 1-0 up. But the dynamics could have changed. If they score, tails up, kill it, they're going to half time 1-0 up. It could be a different game, but well done, Big Sol. But as I say, my man in match, there was just so many to pick from, but the lad Brown just captured me. Everything he did was immaculate, accurate, never gave a ball away. Goalkeeper got to be man of the match. That's so you says that, and look, I'm not disagreeing. That's your opinion, and he was up there with him. Mike Green says, I know it's still early days, but what's your opinion in Strelic? Does he need better service? Well, he's an international player. Scored a wonder goal against Germany. When I seen that, I thought, wow, what a player we've got in my hands here. He's going to take time to settle in Middlesbrough. Don't kid yourself. Every aspect, on and off the pitch, the way we play might be different format and formation he's playing. He has to settle in the area. He has to get to know new teammates. I don't know how good his English is. So there's things to adapt to, not just the footballing side. But if I'm honest, I've not really seen it yet, what he's got. I'm sure he's better than what he's showing at the minute. But he needs time. He needs more service, better service. I think if you get the service, he'll prove it how good he is. Pamela Turnbull, hiya Pamela. Hayden Hackney has the most touches in the EFL. Him, Brown and Conway were brilliant. So is the same best keeper we've had since Swatzer. That's some compliment, that Pamela. As I say, for those that's not familiar with Big Saul Bryn's a Borough lad. The last 3 years he's been messed about. He's been on the boat for a number of years. He's been up north of the border, down south, farmed out, loaned out, kicked out, whatever you want to say. And he's returned and he's became number one on merit. Last year he came in and then he got injured near the end of the season, disappeared, and then he's back this season. He's been brilliant. Delighted for the big man, really am. I don't know the kid. He looks a good kid. He'll be grounded if he's a Borough lad. Also think Strelic needs to start performing better. Steve Hope, I agree. I think he has to step up, but he's only played a few games. He can't really form a partnership with Conway because Conway's all over the shop. When I played, I know we're rewinding it 100 years ago, but I was up front with a big man. We don't do that now. The big man, any ball went at the big man, I would turn and go in and feed off the big man. And we always played in a radius, maybe 10, 15 yards away from each other. So we're always in tandem. Wherever he went, I went. And that's the way we worked and operated. These days, Conway's in a left back position. He's a central midfield. He's outside right. How can you strike up a partnership with a teammate who's up front? You know, we used to work as a pair, hunt as a pair. We don't hunt as a pair. We're miles apart. Wide as the River Tees, the River Clyde in Scotland. That's how wide we are. We're away from each other. If you're going to work as a partnership, you need to work in tandem and know each other's game and know what it's all about and work off each other. We don't do that. I don't know if that's the way that Big Rob wants it. I think Rob just wants the forwards to work their ass off, knacker their sell out, burn their sell out, run the opposition down and let other guys come on and do the business. I agree about Conway. It's like the boy who cried wolf. Yeah, look, I'm not going to sit here and defend him. I praised him saying that he was still great last night. His work rate was phenomenal. He's closing down. His attitude. But diving, no room in the game for diving, cheating. Colin Ibbotson saying, fantastic for the lads yesterday. We bounced back, and can I say, we should beat Sheffield Wednesday. I know it's the Borough, and we don't do anything easy. I believe we will win, and what a start for the season. Colin, it's been a great start, irrespective of what happens on Wednesday. But talking about Wednesday, we play Sheffield Wednesday, and Sheffield Wednesday's in turmoil. Talk about getting out of business, not got a manager, players like Windas's son headed off because the contracts were broken. He went, no, I'm off. A lot of loyalty shown there, like. Back in my day, it happened at Middlesbrough, we all stayed put. Imagine it happened today at Middlesbrough. How many players would stay? Zilch. Let's not mess about here. Zilch. Replying to Riley, I agree. Yeah, so he's agreeing with you. So Riley was saying, L. Riley says, I agree about Conway. And then Steve Hope is replying saying, I agree with you. Another thing I want to ask, it's not so much on the field. Well, it is on the field because it's with Crest. The Middlesbrough Crest, my son sent me a bit the other day. What do you think of the new crest? I know they were talking about it a while back, but I didn't see it bypass me. And my boy, who's a big Borough fan, he loves the Borough, born and bred in Borough. Dad, what do you think of the new crest? And I looked at it, and my initial thought the new crest was Borough taxis. I don't know why. I've seen taxis with this sign. For me, I've got an opinion. It's no different. Well, it is different for the other one. It's not as bold, not as in your face. But I like the first one. The harsh reality says 1986. Obviously, the date's changing. It's a bit. It's meant to see Rosebery Tottenham. I like my art. I like painting, but I don't really see it. But yeah, so doesn't matter. I don't care what the crest is, what the strip looks like. It's the players inside the strip and inside the boots. That's what I want to see shining, not the badge. But the badge is still important. The rampant line or the line, and you've got the date. That's it. So yeah, minor things we're talking about. But what do you think? If you're watching this, what do you think of the badge? Have you seen the new? Well, I call it badge. Yeah. What do you think of it? The crest, not the badge. I also think Taggart is a quality player at this level. Mike Green. Yeah, I think he just eases through the game. Never looked flustered. Again, he's experienced, but he's never flustered. Gives good support. But when he plays wing back, him and Britain or whoever's playing wing back when we go back to the three, and inevitably we will, they have to do more going forward. I like the way Bryn comes out and catches the ball. Drove me mad. This is for Jason Cooling. Drove me mad when previous keepers punched everything. Also relieves a lot of pressure. I agree with that as well, Jason. It's refreshing. He's a confident kid. He comes out, catches it at the peak. You know, when the ball goes in there, as a goalkeeper, you're meant to go and reach it as high up as you can. You don't let it fall, and you're in trouble then. And he's very good at it. And some of his kickouts, some of them I didn't know if he was shanking them or because he was hitting them low. You know, up in the air, a lot of keepers hit them high. He was hitting them like just above head height. They were drifting left and right. I don't know if that was deliberate. I'm sure it was, but he's very good at it. But he does come out and commands the box, and he's did very well. I mean, if he keeps going at this rate and keeps performing at this rate, you don't know. Another few years' time, he could be an international keeper. Just switching away from Borough briefly, Postecoglou sacked. Before he come on, he got sacked a few years ago, but after the game, it was an early kickoff. Beaten again. I mean, I think what was he in charge? 8 games or something? 1-1. Yeah, 1-1, 5 draws, 2 defeats, something like that. Yeah, I think that was it. Third bottom of the Premier League. But do you know what? The big, I don't even know how to say his name, Marinakis. Was it Marinakis? The big heavy lad. He wants to go on a diet and go for a good jog. He should sack his cell. I mean, big Nuno, who was doing brilliant. Nuno to go in the public arena, which the hierarchies at football clubs don't like. Big Nuno got sacked because of that, opening his mouth. And then they brought in Postecoglou in the back here. Lasted 8 games. It's unbelievable. 8 games. Steve McClaren, when he came to Borough, we're going back to Borough now. Steve McClaren, the first 4 games I remember in the Premier League, we could beat 4. We never won a game in 4. And off the top of my head, I think we conceded something like 12. So he never won a game, conceded but 12 goals. I think we scored very few. He could quite easily get sacked, but we held on to him, and he turned out taking us to a UEFA Cup final, and he did brilliant. 2 years of European football. But yeah, I don't think modern coaches, managers, the top boys are just dictating everything these days, and directors of football and all that stuff. I like the way, yeah, if I mentioned that, sorry. Regularly says, I love the connection to our heritage, the River Tees and the magnificent Rosebery Tottenham, whilst returning to the signature original. A lot of thought put into it. Is there just putting a wee gap between the top bit of the line? I've seen it. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. How many people out there actually see that if you don't tell them? You know, like artists, like I like musicians. I mean, Morrissey's well known, well documented. He's got lyrics about everything and anything, but I don't know what they're really relating to. And I think that's part of the attraction. You listen to a lyric and say, by God, that's good. What's that about? Who's he singing about? You don't really know, but we have to be told what's on the badge. I think 99% when they know, if they just looked at it without being told what it actually means. Look, we're Middlesbrough. We wear a line. We've got the date. That's it. That's it. In my opinion, I like art. I'm into art, and I've got an opinion. I didn't see any anything wrong with the original. Thing is, and it no doubt costs a few quid. It's like when they put the bottle in Middlesbrough, the bottle outside the courts. Not that I've ever been in the court, but the bottle spent a fortune on that. Many people pass in Middlesbrough are interested in a metal bottle, or the big net is at the Riverside. Spent a fortune in that. They call it art. I can't swear. If that's that, that's fine. Art's whatever you see. Whatever people, I do art stuff, and some people say, oh, that's crap. That's fine. That's cool. So it's like looking at a woman. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You might say, wow, look at another. My mate goes, what? That's it. It's like that. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Whatever you see, it makes you feel good, go for it. I think it's a big difference when you can turn to the strong bench we have now. Oh, without a doubt, Timmy. Hiya, Timmy. If you look at the bench, I'll read it again. McGreevy's back. Long overdue, in my opinion. Ayling, wee bit surprised he was out, but at what? Morris, who's been terrific this season, was on the bench. Nipan, I'm still waiting to see Nipan. I'd love to see Nipan in that number 10 role. You know, just behind the front man. I think he would really create things. Some games it's tougher than others. That sometimes their team or the opposing team bolsters the defence and, you know, just tries to frustrate. I think Nipan's a guy who could unlock that. Senny, Silvera. Silvera come on, second half, as did the majority of subs. Banguera, Hansen, McLaughlin. Don't know a lot about McLaughlin. Hackney's best game by far. This is for Mo Cummins. Hackney's best game by far. Just hope we can keep hold of him in January. Edwards made 4 changes. 4 changes from the Portsmouth game. He's not shy to make changes. Conway's work rate, yet again, great team performance. Yeah, work rate for Conway I've credited. Rob Edwards, well, Hackney's best game. I think it was Hackney's best game for a while. And it so happens it's against the team that wanted to sign him. That was in the public arena that both clubs had agreed, and they went, I ain't going. I think he went out there last night saying, I'll show you why you wanted to get me. And he was really, really good last night, Hackney. Graham Addison says, great result last night, Bernie. Hackney was class, yeah. Negative point, Whittaker not good enough for me. Well, so far, he's not been good enough. Anybody says anything different, there's no need to give the lad a lot of stick, but you pay your money, it's up to you. Do what you want. I'm not here to tell you what to do and what not to do. You pay your money, you can have a go at who you like, but he's not a fan's favourite, but he was last night when he scored that winning goal. Not good enough. I know he got the goal, but apart from that, was poor, in my opinion. Graham, I was told that all the time. Slavin's crap, but he just scores every game or every second, third game. I'd take that all day long. If he bangs in the goals for fun, I don't care how he plays. Do you want to run about sometimes like a headless chicken and get nothing, or do you want to play rubbish and score the winner? I know what I would do. Dennis Highfield says, can't believe they spent 18 months on the badge like the one we've got. 18 months? Get away, Dennis. Seriously. 18 months? I could have wrapped it up in a night. Seriously. Get away. 18 months for just similar line, just break it up and put like a wee squiggle to say that's Rosebery to get away. Bernie, Postecoglou got paid 8 million from Tottenham for getting sacked. Now he's signed a 2-year contract, 3 million per year. So another 5 million on its way for getting sacked. Steve, that's exactly what I was saying today. He's laughing all the way to the bank. So I told you there's a guy, Andy Ritchie, not the one in England. He helped me my career in Scotland. He was a big hitter at Morton in the top flights. He was one of the greatest players around. They called him the idol. He wasn't a workhorse. He was just class. Scored 3 corner kicks, free kicks, class. He told me as a 19-year-old boy, he used to pick me up. I didn't drive because I was a French player, took me to Morton. And one day I was sitting in the car in the passenger seat. He says, Bernard, he called me Bernard. He says, Bernard, do you know what, son? It's the only occupation it pays to be a failure. Football. If you don't do your work at your job, you get a boot up your ass. Lucky if you get a month's wages, pay off, see you later. Football, get on that merry-go-round, the gravy train, fail, boatload of money. Fail again, boatload of money. And again. It's a farce. Football, only occupation pays to be a failure. So what you're saying is correct. And I was told that, as I say, as a 19-year-old boy. Who's the best striker in your opinion, James Aitken? At the minute, striker, none of them. The best striker scores goals, in my opinion. I know that's not the way it's meant to be at the minute, but if I'm a striker and I've got 2 goals out of 10, 11 games, well, 10 games, I'm not happy. 2 goals out of 10. Oh, wait. And see, last season, people going, oh, yeah, Conway's done brilliant, 12, 13 goals. Are you joking or what? 12, 13 goals. We're nearly top 6 for the majority of the season. My best season at Middlesbrough. No, I'm just going to me because I know what I'm talking about regarding me. I played in a crap Middlesbrough team. 4th bottom. Had to win the last game to stay up. I scored 32. Not on the league, but I scored 32 goals. We're getting all chuffed and over the moon with 12, 13 goals. They're on 20, 30 grand a week. Are you winding us up? I think the modern fan is deluded to a degree, you might be one of them, and easily pleased. In my day, the fans weren't easily pleased. They worked hard for the cash. They came with hopes, ambitions, and dreams, like we all do, start every season. And if you didn't do it, they were on your case. They paid to see me getting goals. I wanted to score goals. I didn't want remembered when my career finishes. Oh, Slavin ran 4 million miles. I don't give a toss how many miles I ran. They don't count your mileage or how many tackles you made. They count your goals and how many clean sheets. That's the stats in games. That's what really matters in games. Watched the players come into the ground yesterday. And McGree came in. I saw Stone on the floor and was glad he's seen it. Otherwise, it would have been out again. Oh, David Seaman is caught as well. David away. It's no big David Seaman for the Arsenal, is it? No, David Seaman, a wee bit of fun there, a wee bit of sarcasm. Because obviously McGree's went missing. He's been on the missing list for quite some time. I'd like to see more of Stanley, is it? Yeah. Hansen. This is for Dave. Oh, sorry, hold on a minute. Dennis Highfield says the joke about McGree. David Siemens says, I'd like to see more of Sani, I'm sure that's how you pronounce it. Hansen, he's always looks capable of producing a bit of magic in the small cameos that he's played. Yeah, I think he comes on a live wire, a spark, I'll give you that. Stephen Parkin says, hi Bernie, what do you think about Hayden's performance last night? Me personally, I thought he was excellent and played as if he had a point to prove against the club who wanted to sign him. No wonder he looked knackered at the end of the match up the Borough. Stephen, I'm a Hackney fan. I thought he was terrific last night. That's the best I've seen him for a while. I thought he formed dipped the last few games along with Morris. Energy levels dropped. Passing was a bit hitty missy. Last night I thought he was great. There was one he came in for the right early doors, beat a couple of players, hit it, left peg just flew by the post. And another shot, and then he was swinging. He was getting passes inside right and switching to outside left. He had a couple of great balls. He just whipped round the defenders into the forwards, like Strelick and Conway. So I thought that's the best game I've seen him for a long time. He's unlucky not going on the score sheet. So for me, Hayden Hackney was very good last night. Very good. And again, 2 teams that had agreed, Middlesbrough and Ipswich. He went out there as if to say, do you know what, you guys I'm up against? I'm showing you the reason why your club, I was going to replace one of yous, and I'm going to show you why they will want to pay 20 million for me. And he showed it last night. He was the best midfielder out there, without a shadow of a doubt. Mike Green says, going back to our strikers, are you worried we might come up short due to lack of goal scorer? Well, yeah, that's one of the things I've said over the weeks. I said it last night in the lounge. When we get when we play 3 centre backs, wing backs, I don't think the wing backs, they're good enough defensively, and they've got enough energy to get back and stamina, but going forward they don't create enough. And our balls, when we're in the wide positions, have to be of a certain quality. We cannot hoof them in the air because we've not got a Peter Crouch-like figure, or an Ian Baird when I played, or Archie Stevens, great in the air. We've not got that type of player, so they need to be whipped in, and we don't do enough of that. And the 2 midfielders have to create more. So for me, there is a wee issue there where, well, look, Coventry scored double the amount of goals, more than double. So that tells you they've got it right at both ends. We've got it right at one end, but we're still doing brilliantly. But I'm with you. I think that as well. And that's my mindset. I've said for years, I could score 3. I'd go home on the night thinking she scored 5, and I'd dwell on the 2 I missed rather than enjoy the 3 I scored. And that's just my way of thinking. You're always thinking for a rainy day, a bad time, what's going to happen. Getting January, are we going to sell? I think if people come in and we money that we can't turn down, that we're going to take it no matter where we are. I think that, in my opinion, now that would be criminal. That would be criminal. That would really rip the heart out of us. Despite having a big squad and a good squad, I still think it would really be gut wrenching that come January, no matter what money's involved, put it back to the summer. What's the rush? We're not going under, as far as I know. We're quite healthy. We're above board financially. But that'd be criminal for me. And might as well put the white flag up. I'm going to read a few of these because I say it every week now. I miss them. Where are we? Joe says, what a great game of football, Bernie, last night, and result. A great result. Bry, take it as Brian. Bry says, brilliant result. We needed this. But it was good to get back in the rails. You know, and there was people questioning, as we mentioned throughout this, that when they looked at the side, they were a bit surprised. Morris is out and Ayling's out and he's changed it for me. But it what? So well done, Big Rob. You need balls and you need a bit of steel to go, do you know what? We're going to change it. After one defeat, come on. I've only been beat once in 10 games. It's been an amazing start. More than I dreamt of. As I say, Big Rob, never met him, but he wasn't my choice. But looking at him now, he's doing terrific. Breath of fresh air, good in the front of the cameras, looks good, talks good, personality. I think that's important. As I say, the big personality or the bigger personality comes out in times of trouble and when things aren't going your way. But I just think he's got it. Shout out to the 2,500 Ipswich fans travelling on a Friday night. Great away support. PS Coventry will whoop the league. Will settle for second place. I would settle for second place. Choice right now, without a doubt. Yeah, well done in the 2,500 Ipswich fans that travelled miles and, well, many, many miles. Don't forget, I've travelled to Ipswich playing there and doing the commentary with the late great Ali Brownlee. It's a long, long way. A Friday night. As I say, it's to scoot the Sky and the clubs. Both of them rate the rewards. The fan get messed about. That's something for me that we really should get sorted. Start of a season, when the fixtures come out, they should be set in stone. They just got them down. Fans who travel the country watching the beloved sides, not just Middlesbrough, everybody, no matter what division, and they get chopped and changed for television. Oh, we'll just switch that. People, you know, paid money for trains and accommodation, and then it just gets changed. Crap. And that's why the Borough fans, they had a big banner up. I seen it behind the goal last night. And by the way, the fans were great last night. Really got behind the team. Deservedly so. The team deserved it. And sang their hearts out and really, it was a great atmosphere last night. Thought it was great. I thought Buzzog had a good game. He doesn't often get a mention, Palmer. Buzzog did well last night. I mean, first half hit and miss it, but he did come into it. And a lot of fans were giving him praise. Bryce said, brilliant result. We needed this. Dave the Slave. I went past my finger nails last night. I was chewing my fingers. Past fingernails, this is sorry. I passed my fingernails, so he's biting his nails and onto his fingers. It was a nervy last 10, 12 minutes. I think there was 4 minutes added on. Chris Andrews says, great result. I thought Hackney was very good and Buzzog caused them problems. I think he'll start the next game. Whatever Rob does, we can't disagree because he's not messing about and he's doing what he's got us and he's not trying to please people. He's doing what he thinks right for the team. A bit like the England manager. Tuchel. He's doing well, isn't he? For England, Jerry says, I promised my wife. What? I promised my wife that I would return from the game full of vim, vigour and ready for action. Of course, I didn't let her down. I showed her the table up the Borough. This was last night, of course. So that was okay last night, given that. Great result. I thought, yeah. Clifford Truren. Jones has been quality signing. Defence looks solid for the first time in years. Clifford, yeah, I met a guy on the way down coming out of the game last night. Don't know if he had him. Had a conversation and he was raving about Jones, how good he's come in, settled instantly and produced. And I agree with all of that. Seamless. Just come in. Looks as if he's been here for a couple of years. Brilliant. And well done to the recruitment team for getting him. Akpom Bernie never got a kick when he came on. No, he's on the bench. I think he's been in and out of the team since he came for it. Was it Ajax he went to over there? Look, Akpom was a great player for us. Well, great. One season, brilliant. 28 goals, whatever, brilliant. Then we cashed in the money we got, brilliant. And since then, it's been a bit of a turbulent time for him over there in Ipswich. Alan Brown was my man of the match. Lee Davies, he was my man of the match. I mean, Hackney was brilliant, and I says Conway was brilliant, and the keeper and tag. The majority were very, very good, but Hackney just was shaded with Brown because I've not seen a lot of Brown, and he just showed me how good he is. The biggest crime in football. This is a Bruce Rare quote, former manager for the younger viewers. He used to put in the wall. It was on a wooden board painted in gold. The biggest crime in football is to give the ball to the opposition. I mean, you get away against Man City, you don't get back for 10 minutes. And that is a great saying. And for me, Brown never wasted a ball. I can't even remember him giving a ball away to the opposition. Correct me if I'm wrong. Where are we here? Jamie says Saul Bryn deserves plaudits, but what about their keeper? Yeah, their keeper. Hey, Saul Bryn was great for us, but their keeper, dear me, he was like there was one like Gordon Banks. The lad hit it first half. I think it was Conway, the double one, and it was going destined for the top left-hand corner, and somehow he got a hand to it. It looked as if he'd one of the big hands that used to be behind the goal. The fans used to wave. It looked like one of them put it over the bar. It was a great save. Bazog, not everyone's cup of tea, Bernie. This is for Ned. But he did well last night. He did. Keep them coming. I know it's an odd time, but last night was too late. The time I got in, yeah, it was too late. Jed says each and every player gave 100% last night, Bernie. You can't ask for more than that. Well, I just think in football, fans pay hard-earned cash, and I think the minimum you should expect is 100%. That's the minimum. Laced with a wee bit of class and skill and trickery and a wee bit of endeavour. But you're right. Every player gave 100% last night. But the catalyst to that is Conway. Right away, he's in there. There was one he made. It was early doors, and I said to the lad sitting next to me, I was ready to say, he's burning energy for nothing, just for the sake of it. He ran for inside right. One of their defenders hit the back to the goalkeeper. He was inside right in the box, looking up this way. Conway's inside right in the opposite side. And Conway darted when the keeper got it. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? You've no chance of getting it. He nearly got it, by the way. So he must be quicker than what he looks. He nearly got it. So he was making the right decision. I was choosing the wrong choice of words. Chris Andrews says, we're going to need a striker in January and still need a proper winger. I thought Hansen was supposed to be an out-and-out but winger. This is the thing, Andrew. We do bring players in. I think rather than bringing tradesmen in, we bring jack of all trades, people who can play that are versatile. I get that side as well. But if you come as a centre forward, I want you up front. Whittaker, I believe they scored 18 goals. Correct me if I'm wrong. For Plymouth Argyle, and we went in from. It doesn't look it doesn't look as if he could score 18 goals, but he did. We're a duff team, nowhere near as good as Middlesbrough, or the calibre of player that he surrounds himself with, or he's surrounded with. So I don't really. We sign players and tend to play them out of position, and I like guys that's master at one position rather than jack of all trades. Tradesman. Can't believe you haven't met or had a chat with Edwards yet. Good to see Mug and Palace at the ground. More comments. Yeah, it was funny. So somebody asked me today, could we put a picture on my mate, my little artist friend Graham Bandera. He's at every game, and I love him, and he's my big pal. I've known him since he was a kid, and I met him afterwards, and we were talking about who we've met and all that. And then Steve Gibson came out and met I'd already spoke to the chairman behind the scenes, but met him afterwards as well, and we got a picture and everything, hunky dory. But going back to Mug and Pally, they're in the posh lounge, and Pally texts me. Last time they come into the Legends Lounge, which I host, they get mobbed, couldn't chat. So they went, we're in the VIP lounge. They used that deliberately, or Pally did, deliberately, because I would have a bite and I went, what, the very important, you can imagine what I say is P. No, it wasn't people, or, yeah, person, it was something else. The second letter was R. Anyway, I went down to see them and they were there with Lenny Lawrence. So I had a good chat with them and good laugh. And anyway, Lenny Lawrence. So going back to where I've lost my train of thought, going back to Rob Edwards, this tour I'm having on the 30th, good chance to plug it. There's only balcony seats left. Big, don't forget, Town Hall's a big place. So down here's gone, long gone. Up here, I don't know. I've not checked with Town Hall. Or whoever's dealing with it, I've not checked with Town Hall, but they're going to be a good crowd there. But big Rob Edwards, I text the PR man at Middlesbrough and says the PR this season looks very good, which it is. And it's been a long time, in my opinion. Don't forget, 40 years, I know a lot of things, and PR I've always said is poor. But this season's been exceptional. Rob Edwards come in, exceptional PR. I spoke to people behind the scenes, lovely guy, Disney ignore anyone, he's approachable and da-da-da. So I just says, look, I'm having this doing the 30th. The chairman's something to come in if Steve Gibson's available and he's no snowed under. I had a do him last night, and obviously he's a busy man, he's all over the world. Anyway, I did say, look, Steve Gibson says he would come. If you want Rob and his coaching staff, they're more than welcome to come. Just to get to know the surroundings. Now, I had the reply. So if you know the PR man at Middlesbrough, I do. I'm not going to chase him a second time. I've asked the question. So he's invited to come. I'd like him to meet the lads and know the history of the club and guys like Tony Mowbray and Palace and get to know the boys. I know he's met one or two others. Seemingly he was doing with Higgy and Hendy, my mates, recently. Come and meet some of the boys before that. Anyway, so that was that. And yeah, so Lenny Lawrence is coming. People think I had a spat with Lenny. I didn't go on with Lenny. He was a manager. He got rid of me, fell out. But listen, I don't hold grudges. As you get older, you get wiser. Yeah, just get on with your life and enjoy it and try and get on with everybody. And Lenny is mates with Pally Mugger. The coffee's regular, and I hear good stories, reports. He did a podcast with me. I've not actually grind with Lenny now. Long gone. Water under the bridge, and he's coming. So brilliant. So Lenny's another one. I'll name them before the end who's coming. Gary Bickerstaff says, I thought it was great performance, Bernie, especially with the number of changes, shows the depth in the squad. We've got a 28-man squad, massive. And there's a lot of quality there as well, and a good mixture of youth and experience. And I think that's important as well. Would be good if you can get an experienced player from the Premier League in January to calm things down when needed. Hey, nobody. Yeah, the more the merrier. I just hope January, if we weren't to get anybody in and everybody's still fit and up there, I'm cool with that. But if we were to let one go, I'd rather keep the same squad and get nobody in than let one or two go in January. As I say, I just think that would be a big... Yeah, it wouldn't be good. Cheers, Rob, man. Great to see my hairy artist friend. He's Graham Bandera is one of the finest. I'm into that because of this guy. He influenced me many years ago. I'm nowhere near as good as him. He's ultra talented, wins awards, goes run. He was in Paris recently. But he's not a big time channel. He's a borough lad. And he's my little artist friend. And he in return calls me his hairy artist friend. And I take that as a compliment. I'm not really as hairy as I used to be back. Chris Andrews says, with Lenny there when you left for Port Vale. Oh, wait, Chris, this is the thing. I always say, educate your younger people watching this. Learn the history of your club. I think it's important, paramount. As I say, I've been here 40 years October, and I know Middlesbrough inside out. I've done hundreds of games commentary, played hundreds of games, and I know players are way before my time. I know all about them, names and when they played and who they played and what position they played. But Lenny, going back to Lenny got rid of me when we were in the Premier League. He just came in, Lenny, and sometimes it happens. Clash of personalities. I used to say Lenny didn't have any. That was my way. But hey, listen, Lenny's not a bad man. He made the decision at the time which he thought was right. But I blame the guys above him at the time because we were in the Premier League. It was me and Paul Wilkinson up front. Both of us had scored goals and a few goals, right few goals. And then he broke that partnership up because of my, well, whatever I had, whether he didn't like me as a person. Well, I've asked him on the podcast. You can retrace the podcast, Chris. I'm not going to tell you the story. There's a podcast I did ages. Look, total BS. You can backtrack. There's Ravanelli. There's Chubarakpom. There's everybody on that. Free. And you can get Lenny. And Lenny gives his opinion. When I say to him, come on, Lenny, get rid of me. What was it? You know, like me as a player or as a person? I was too strong opinionated. And he tells you exactly on that. So rather than me spoil it, Chris, listen to it when you're in your car or whatever, podcast, and hands-free, of course. So that's that rant over. Let me see this one. We're nearly there. So let's see. Jed says, each and every player give 100%. Yeah, I've mentioned that. Sorry. Great to see Whittaker score. That'll be good for his confidence. That's for Andy. Phil says, good advert for Championship football last night, Bernie. It was. Paula says, Berzog and Whittaker, moaners, where are you? Where are you? He says. That's for Paula, the lady Paula. Anne says, I had to gargle last night when I get in. My throat was sore and hoarse from shouting. Here's a few. I see my mate, big Carlos Alberto, sits next to me. He's my pal every game. Nuts. He's up there, effing, giving it big ones, frustrated, panicking, biting his nails, biting the lad next to him's nails. Yeah, I'm sure he had a gargle as well last night. Frank. Cracking game, cracking victory up the border. Philip says, who was your man of the match last night, Wolfman? Well, as I say, there was a host. There was Saul Bryn, there was Conway, there was Taggart, there was Hackney, there was Brown. Brown just edged Hackney. Hackney was terrific. He was. That's the best he played for a while for me, Hackney. I'm sure he knows that. He's honest enough to know that. He was terrific. He was beating men. He was spraying passes. He was tackling. He was getting back, getting forward. But Brown just never wasted the ball. It was amazing. Matty says, what a win. Up yours, Ed Sheeran. So Matty says, what a win for the Borough against Ipswich. Up Ed Sheeran. And if you're thinking, what's Ed Sheeran all about? Ed Sheeran, I believe, I don't know if he's invested in him, but he's certainly a fan of theirs. And Matty, the Borough fans, just saying, right up your kilt. Rob says, a lot of fans applauded Akpom's return. Good to see. Well, he deserves it, doesn't he? 28 goals in a season. First player to score 20 league goals in 32, 33 years and made the club a lot of money. He deserves it. But I still don't get the mentality of the fans or certain fans who applaud players that return and boo other ones that return. I don't really get that. How do you cherry pick who you like and who you don't like? Where are we? Right, okay. So I lost my... Dennis Highfield says, one person that doesn't get enough thanks is the chairman. We were all on his back when we were rubbish, but it's his money that keeps us there. So thanks, Mr. C. Gibson. Without a doubt, listen, I know C. Gibson, but I'm not a sycophantic fool or blinkered or things he's got wrong. But without Steve Gibson, Middlesbrough could have disappeared into the oblivion if it wasn't for him and what he's done. He's been unbelievable. And as I say, he's a genuine football fan. He's not just a money man. He likes money, like all the businessmen, and makes money. But he invests in the club, looks after the club. He's got it in a healthy situation. And he loves football. A lot of these chairmen could have spelled football now. He's saying a check and money deals, but football, they don't know about football. Steve Gibson does, one of the few, and he's a Borough lad, supports it. How many other chairmen out there all over the country support the club they're in charge of? I'd like to know the answer to that. I've never looked it up. Gary Bickerstaff says, I thought it was a great performance, Bernie. It was, Gary, without a doubt, especially with the number of changes. Shows the depth in the squad. Would be good if you can get an experienced player from the Premier League in January to calm things. Yeah, it's a fair point. Never seen a keeper so cool as Saul. Saul Bryn is cool for his young age. Well, he's 24 and he's still relatively young. I can play. He's 40. What did Dino Zoff play? He played to good old days, didn't he? Who was the best player you've ever played with who never lived up to the potential, Bernie? That's a good question, that, Gary. There was none that I played with. Everybody I played with when we came to Middlesbrough, young lads like Pallister and Mowbray and Cooper and Ripley, they all majority became international players, and Stuart Rittling on to win the Premier League with Blackburn Rovers at the time. But when you talk about that, who never fulfilled the potential, Carlos Marinelli, he was a name I kept hearing for the coaches at the time, who were my pals, saying, wait, you see this Marinelli, Bernie, he's like Maradona. Unbelievable. Training, tricks, amazing. I watched his every game. He was more like Madonna. So he was one that Argentinian he was. That was a similarity he had with Maradona. But didn't live up to what everybody was telling me. Some guys are classed as training ground players. They can do it in a training session, beat a man, top corner, every day of the week, come a game where there's a crowd in, the pressure's on, they can't do it. I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. And the guy that brought that up, training ground player, was Ian Baird. Big Birdie, love Birdie. He was best striking partner. He came out that one day. One of the lads was shooting at training, and he went, "You're a TG player." And a few of the lads, including me, went, "TG player? What do you mean by that?" He went, "Training ground player. Can't do it in big games." Some players are made for the big games, the big occasions. Some players don't. You know, there's people critical of Harry Kane. Harry Kane for me is a fantastic professional, fantastic finisher. His goal records are unbelievable for club, countries, whatever. But some people say, well, he scores against Andorra and he scores against the whatever islands, but he can't score against the big teams. I've never really checked out to see where the goals have came from. But I do know, talking about England, that Mark McDonald, my old radio mate with the three legends, still holds the record for 5 goals for England. Scored 5 against Cyprus. I think it was the Cypriot waiters, mind you. Check it out. Reply. So Gary says, replying to Simon Murphy. Simon Murphy, totally agree. We will do well to keep him England keeper of the future. I just mentioned that not so long ago. I think so. If he keeps his feet in the ground, which I'm sure he will. I think if he keeps developing at the rate he's doing, he could be a future England international. Maybe Brown, Morrison, Hackney in midfield for next game. 5 across midfield. That's Chris guessing, and it's a good guess. It's an idea. Where are we? Andrew says, I haven't shouted that much in years. Terry says, what a difference a break makes. I don't think it's so much the break. Sometimes you can, as a player, so if I was in the Borough team against Portsmouth and we get beat down there and we weren't good that day, with an off day, I want to play on the Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't want a 2-week break to come back and stew all that time. I want to get out of my system, get back in, win the game and score a goal, get back in track. I don't want 2 weeks to... So, hey, you could be right, but me personally, I didn't like a break. Ian says, Alfie Jones just glides through the games up the effing Borough. I've mentioned that. We're nearly there, sorry. Danny says, how good was Brown, Bernie? Yeah, I've mentioned that throughout here. He was amazing. Harry says, Borough, you made my weekend outstanding. Thank you very much. Nice for people to appreciate. See, it's easy to criticise, hard to praise, but people tonight are giving the players what they deserve. Maybe Brown, Morris, yeah, I mentioned that, sorry. Kevin says, last night was definitely a statement. Hey, this season's been a statement. The recruitment's been a statement. The way we've started's been a statement. Hackney staying was a statement, although it was Hackney's decision. I think that's a good statement. Local lad wants to stay put. Could have made more money. Is he going to a better team? Well, obviously, last night proved he wasn't. Carlos says, looking forward to your night on the 30th. I'll talk about that in a minute. Bernie, what do you think of the new crest from Diane? Well, I says that when I first seen it, I thought something to do with Borough taxis. That was one. You can laugh at it or think I'm not being sarcastic. I just thought I didn't see much difference in it. I didn't think it was as bold as the first one. The date obviously changed, or the year 1986 to 150 years. I get that. That's fine. Cool with that. I say it's what's in the shirt and what's in the boots. Doesn't matter. Crest's nice, but doesn't really matter, does it? Neither here nor there. But we're not on the catwalk. We're going out to play football, get dirty, get in amongst it, get blood in it, and sweat and snot. Sorry if you're having a curry and I'm talking about snot. I watched the after the game interview last night, and I think myself as well as others were all against Whittaker playing, but you could actually see the emotion in him. And for me, a player that has that is worth sticking by. Look, as I say, he's come from Plymouth Argyle. He's done brilliant there. He's came to a bigger team, bigger fan base, more pressure, expectations greater, and is it a new experience coming to North East of England? So there's loads of things, but he scored last night. He needs to continue that and start scoring a few more goals and be more consistent. The lad don't know that, but that's a great boost for him last night, and the fans got behind him. Needs to start getting a goal tally up. Coventry gold and cement. Oh yeah, as I say, they're more than double the amount of goals. They've got it right both ends. As I say, I'm in the shop having the coffee. 0-0. My mate says I couldn't get reception. My cheap phone, the new whatever new phone, and he could get the internet, and he says, "Oh, it's 0-0." There was about 50 odd minutes, and I says, "I tell you what, they'll still win 3-0. They didn't. They won 2. Saying that, last night, that's why I don't gamble. I thought, I says in the lounge, I thought it'd be a draw, 1 each. I thought it'd be an evenly balanced game, but we deserved the victory. What do you think of Neville's comments about it? No, I don't want to get involved. Politics. I do about my podcast. It's talking about politics out the game. I'm not getting involved in that. Politics out the game. If you want to hear my long-winded answer on it, listen to my podcast. I talk about it. Total BS. It's free, and listen to it. Yeah, so that's that. So anyway, Lenny Lawns is coming to the town hall 30th of October. I've not got the town hall's number, so I should have, because I had a thing here. It's the guys that's organising saying, mind and plug it, Bernie, for up the stairs. And I've got that much rubbish. I've got it here. Right. So, people, it's definitely coming, because I asked them a couple of months ago, but obviously dynamic changed, things changed. Bruce Reich has been in touch today, and he has had a knee operation. He told me he was getting one, and he has. And he's in rehab, and he says, look, I don't think I'm going to be there. I'm going to be honest. So I'm being honest with you, the fan. I'm not going to pull the wool over you and say they're all turning up and they don't. So Bruce Reich, but he will do a video clip. I've asked him to do a video clip, but I wish him all the best. Health's number one. Health's number one. So good luck to Bruce. And obviously I sent him a text back saying good luck with it. He has to go in and get it redone or something. John Henry had something similar. He had a knee operation, and he had to get it, I don't know what you call it, but they drag your leg every way, shape and form. And Henry was in a bad way. So I get with Bruce. Bruce is older, obviously. And Bruce, I love Bruce, and manager. If you don't know about Bruce Reich, dig up the information about the past. So on the night, Lenny Lawnshaw mentioned last night. People think I fell out with, I've not fell out with Lenny. Time's moved on. Lenny Lawnshaw were there. Colin Cooper, Tony Mowbray. Mugger saying last night, Bernie, you've not invited me. I thought, of course I invite Mugger. Mugger, number one on my list. Tony Mowbray, Gary Pallister, David Wheater, Matt Proctor, David Hodgson, Craig Hignett, John Henry, Archie Stevens, Terry Cochran, Neil Madison, Jeff Winter, Peter Wright, Yorkshire Vet, Eric Gates, Mickey Horswell. You're saying, why the two Sunderland lads? Well, one's a cup winner, FA Cup winner, and one's a UEFA Cup winner. Come on. No, I worked on the radio with these guys, and the characters, they'll have good stories in the night. And they'll all be doing a talk. They'll all be saying a bit. There'll be Gary Phillipson. He's hosting it. He works for local radio. Works at the club. And he's a good host, and he's funny, and he's a character. And it'll not be a PC night. Chris McGlade, he'll be doing a wee chat as well. He's wrote a poem about myself, and it's from the heart, because he's a massive Borough fan, Chris, and he's a very talented actor. He's not on the telly every week like some of the other ones, because he's no PC correct, and Vince is splaining. I admire that. So he's coming along in the night, and he's really looking forward to it. So it's going to be a great night. So you can phone the town hall. It's 01642 729 729, or you can dial 0736 887 0120, or you can email 7.enterprises@hotmail.co.uk. The word 7.enterprise@hotmail.co.uk. So that's where you can get the ticket. As I say, you're never going to, under the £1 billion, you're not going to as many, pass them on to Man United fame, Tony Mowbray, modern day manager. He'll be back in the game soon. You get your money in it. Big Weeks, what a character. Weeks, he might even sing on the night. He's a great singer. Colin Cooper, part of that 86 squad. Matt Proctor, come on. Proctor Hodgie, big mates in their heyday. Went on to Liverpool fame, Forest, whatever. You hear my new dog's batting in the background. Hignett Henry. John Henry scored the last goal at Essen Park. He's in the history books. Craig Hignett scored the first goal at the Riverside in the history books. Terry Cochran scored against England at Wembley. Northern Ireland International. Archie Stevens. How tough was Archie Stevens? Neil Madison on the radio now. I did a talk with him a couple of weeks ago. Great guy, some great stories. Big Jeff Winter, Jeff the Ref, charismatic human being. Doesn't he talk a lot, Jeff? He's a great guy. No, he's Big Jeff will be there, no doubt. Vintney Spleen, Peter Wright, Yorkshire vet. Bring your animals along and he'll look after them. Eric Gates and Mighty Hospital, as I say, they're two characters. And no doubt I forgot one or two. I just try to scribble them before I come on. But listen, well done, Middlesbrough. Great weekend. We were top of the league for several hours. We're still second, point behind Coventry. But big Rob Edwards and the team, you deserve all the plaudits and all the praise in the world. And last night was a great game. And the crowd were great. And let's enjoy the moment and let's hope we can keep building. Bring on Sheffield Wednesday, a team in turmoil. We've been in turmoil in the past during my years, back in 85, 86, liquidation, bankruptcy, whatever. So I wish Sheffield all the best. Let's hope we survive and everything gets back in place. But we can't, we have to go down there and it's business as usual. We're going there to win the game. Thank you very much for joining us up the Borough. Cheers.